Hi everyone. We are today with the episode 2 of Trends In. Today we'll be talking about supply chain with my lovely colleague who is leading that space here at Sigmar. So everyone, welcome Aideen Omani. How are you, Aideen, today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you for having me.
Lovely to have you here today. Aideen, would you mind walk us through your space? You know, how is the market at the moment? Is it busy, or what do you see in the market?
Yeah, so I look after all of our supply chain logistics and procurement. So yeah, it's a pretty big space, covers a lot. Pretty much goes from anything from supply chain director level right through to anything warehousing, purchasing, sourcing. So yeah, there's a lot to cover and an extremely busy market at the moment. Very candidate led, which I'm pretty sure you'll probably hear from a lot of people throughout this series. Yeah, look, I think there's been a couple of things that have really affected supply chain logistics procurement over the last kind of year, 2 years, you know, between COVID, Brexit. There's been a lot that we've kind of had to adapt to, you know, change quite quickly. So it's a very busy market. I'm seeing an awful lot at the moment. It's busy across kind of planning and sourcing. Yeah, I think obviously because of everything that's happened with COVID, we've had to react pretty quickly. Planning has really been to the forefront of that. Any plans that had been drawn up quickly went in the bin and had to be redone. Any sourcing, you know, it became much more difficult to actually get products. Sourcing had to be done in completely different ways, and we're still seeing the effects of that now. Obviously, with Brexit having happened at the start of the year as well, logistics is extremely busy as well, mostly seeing that in kind of import, export, customs. A lot of businesses that traditionally might have gone to brokerages or agencies for this are now looking at bringing it in-house. A lot of our exports, majority of our exports go to the UK. So before, when this would have been quite a short process, it has now obviously become a lot longer, a lot more labor intensive. So businesses are kind of looking for cost reasons to just bring that in-house now. So yeah, each division kind of has its own challenges at the moment, but yeah, busy is always a good complaint, I guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you're 100% right. Like everybody who I talk to, they all do mention that it's a very candidate-driven market at the moment. But when we talk about, let's say, a contract and permanent positions, which of the positions would you have more of, and you know, how would that resonate with the candidates? What's their preference at the moment?
Yeah, I think kind of still predominantly my area is permanent. Just the nature of the roles, you know, if you're going in as a supply chain manager, it will be to look at long-term plans and the long-term supply chain. So probably still 70 to 80% of my roles would be permanent. Having said that, though, there definitely is contracts as well. A lot would be kind of looking at the transformation side, the continuous improvement side, a lot with kind of systems implementations or global projects. I'm seeing a lot more, I guess, kind of over the last year as well. Businesses have become a lot more connected because everybody had, I guess, kind of for the first time ever, very much so the same problems and the same challenges. So have kind of come together definitely in terms of looking at logistics, 3PLs, you know, with the global container shortages as well. It's been working a lot more on a global scale rather than just looking at Ireland or just looking at Europe. So a lot of kind of implementation projects and continuous improvement projects are happening as well, which again would be on a contract basis, but much longer term contracts than you might see in, you know, engineering or another sector. I would never really classically kind of see 3 to 6 month projects. It would be, you know, 12, 18, 20-month contracts on a lot longer basis. And again, with candidates, I guess if you're kind of in that space, the continuous improvements project space, it always is, I suppose, kind of career contractors, you could call them, that always know they can kind of move on to another assignment. But predominantly for your more kind of classic procurement managers or supply chain managers, it would still be on a permanent basis, yeah.
Okay, perfect. And you've mentioned the impact of COVID and Brexit. So at the moment, is there still this happening in the market, or you don't see that much of a impact on your space?
Yeah, I think Q1 coming back after Christmas was very, very interesting. Even up until before Christmas with Brexit, nobody really knew what was happening. People that I had spoken to maybe back in January 2020, the courses that they would have done for Brexit had more or less nearly kind of become not obsolete, but had completely changed again by the end of the year. So people were kind of more planning for something that they didn't really know too much about. Whereas then, when we all came back in January and it actually happened, it was all hands on deck. That whole logistics, import, export, customs, freight forwarding was just absolutely crazy. I was speaking to people in brokerages that for the first time ever were turning away business because they just couldn't cope with the volumes that they had. There was a lot of the documentation that people had kind of never seen before. So yeah, it's definitely stabilizing now, and I guess kind of getting to a point where it's nearly just second nature for people. It's still not without its issues. There's still a lot of grey areas in terms of Northern Ireland and, what it kind of looks like to get goods through there instead of going through the normal land bridge that we would have used. So yeah, it's definitely still very much so evolving and definitely has an effect, but has stabilized a lot more than what it was at the start of the year, which is definitely good to see.
Perfect. And when we talk, let's say, about the remote aspect and working from home, is that supported to some degree in your industry as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think from what I've been seeing in the market, it has, I suppose, really run true that necessity is the mother of all invention. So a lot of roles that classically would have always been on site, with pharmaceutical businesses or medical device or food, where it's extremely fast moving, things are constantly changing. It was always seen, if you're in supply chain or procurement, you need to be there to react quite quickly to problems that arise. But obviously, throughout the last kind of 15 months, people have been given the opportunity to work from home. So I don't know if it'll ever move to a complete 100% remote model, but the hybrid piece is definitely here, and I think definitely here to stay, which is brilliant. Like, it's really, really opened up the market. There's a lot of people that I might be working with at the moment in like Kilkenny or Tipperary, for instance, that are now open to jobs that are in Dublin because they could only commute up, for 2 days instead of having to commit to doing 5. So it's definitely opening up the market a lot, which is good. Obviously from a candidate perspective, they've got a lot more opportunities, and for clients as well, they're able to get a lot more access to talent across the country. So yeah, it's definitely changing, but I think for the good.
Yeah, perfect. And what kind of roles do you think will be in the highest demand over the next 12 to 18 months?
Yeah, so I think still definitely the planning space will be really, really big. Logistics, I think anything within logistics, there's still so many challenges there, as I mentioned earlier, with kind of the container shortages, obviously with Brexit still kind of being a bit of an evolving beast in itself going forward, and then also that kind of sustainability piece. So a lot of people over the last kind of year as well have had to really look at their supply chains and have had to adapt quite quickly and look at channels that they may not have looked at before, and have been able to see that you can change a supply chain, not necessarily overnight and not quickly, but probably a lot quicker than would have been classically thought. So that whole sustainability piece is definitely coming into it as well. Businesses are becoming a lot more conscious of their future plans and, you know, I suppose kind of the effect that that is happening or having. So the sustainability piece is a big one, also going into kind of the sourcing side and more sustainable sourcing. A lot of businesses are bringing in sustainable sourcing managers to work alongside their buyers and their procurement teams, not necessarily to hands-on do the purchasing and the buying themselves, but more to educate on, you know, you might be getting the lowest price and the fastest lead times, but is it in the long run actually in line with the company goals and what they want to do? So yeah, I think that's definitely becoming a much bigger piece as well, which again, always good to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So Aideen, tell me that how people can reach you.
Yes, yeah. So you can find me on LinkedIn, send me a message there anytime. You can email me, aomahony@sigmar.ie, or you can give me a call on 01474 4652.
Amazing, amazing. Look, thank you for your time today, and have a lovely afternoon.
Thanks, Marcel. You too.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.